You know, sometimes life feels like a sitcom that forgot to tell you you're the punchline. There I was, living the suburban dream. A lovely wife named Sarah, two kids who hadn't yet discovered the joy of making their parents' hair turn gray, and a mortgage that only occasionally made me question my life choices. All was well in the kingdom until I stumbled upon a secret that would make even the juiciest soap opera plots blush. It all began on a deceptively ordinary Thursday evening. I had just returned home from work, arms laden with groceries, because apparently we're a family that consumes cereal like it's going out of style. As I entered the kitchen, I noticed Sarah's phone buzzing incessantly on the countertop. Now, I'm not one to snoop, mostly because I'm technologically inept and proud of it, but the thing was vibrating so much it looked like it was about to dance its way off the counter. "Hey, honey, your phone's having a seizure," I called out. No response. Curiosity piqued, I glanced at the screen. A series of messages from someone named Jordan flashed before it went dark. Now, I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but the rainbow emoji did catch my eye. Plus, Jordan could be male or female, a unisex name, adding to the intrigue. I shrugged it off and went about my evening routine, burning dinner, helping the kids with homework, and pretending to understand modern math. But later that night, as Sarah was showering, her phone buzzed again. This time, a preview of the message popped up. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was amazing." Well, that's not the sort of message you expect your wife to receive, unless the PTA meetings have gotten a lot more interesting. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. Could there be something going on? Nah, it must be a misunderstanding. Maybe Jordan is a close friend I haven't met, or perhaps it's about a surprise party for me, perhaps. Wishful thinking, I know. Over the next few days, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Sarah was more distant, often glued to her phone, giggling at messages she wouldn't share. So, in a moment of uncharacteristic tech savviness, I decided to do some digging. I waited until she was out jogging, a new hobby she picked up suspiciously recently, and grabbed her laptop. Luckily, she uses the same password for everything, our anniversary date. Romantic and convenient. I opened her email, and there it was, a folder labeled work stuff. Inside, I found a chain of emails between her and Jordan, who, as it turns out, is a man. A gay man who's married. The plot thickens. Reading through the emails, it became painfully clear that Sarah and Jordan were more than just colleagues. They had been meeting up after work, sharing hotel rooms during business trips, and apparently exploring the kind of team-building exercises that aren't covered in corporate training manuals. Now, I'm a reasonable guy. I can understand falling out of love, midlife crises, even the occasional ill-advised tattoo. But cheating on me with a married gay man, that takes a special kind of audacity or confusion. I sat there, a whirlwind of emotions crashing over me. Anger, betrayal, a bizarre urge to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Confrontation seemed too simple, too unsatisfying. No, this situation called for a response as unconventional as the affair itself. That's when the seeds of a devious plan began to sprout in my mind. First, I needed more information. I dove deeper into the digital rabbit hole, discovering that Jordan's husband, Michael, was blissfully unaware of his spouse's extracurricular activities. Michael was an artist, a painter whose work adorned the walls of chic galleries and overpriced coffee shops alike. An idea began to form, risky, elaborate, and just petty enough to satisfy my wounded pride. I decided to befriend Michael. I started by attending one of his art exhibitions. Dressed in my best "I'm cultured, I swear" outfit, I approached him as an admirer. "Your work is captivating," I said, pretending to ponder a painting that looked like a toddler's finger painting session gone rogue. "Thank you," Michael replied, his eyes lighting up. "It's a reflection of the chaotic beauty of the human experience." "Ah, chaos and beauty, two sides of the same coin," I mused, nodding sagely despite having no idea what that meant. We struck up a conversation, and by the end of the evening, we were exchanging contact information. Over the next few weeks, we met for coffee, attended more art shows, and even tried that new vegan bistro that everyone was raving about, but tasted like lawn clippings. Meanwhile, I was careful to keep Sarah oblivious to my newfound friendship. Every time she mentioned Jordan, which was rare and always in passing, I played dumb. One day, over a particularly frothy cappuccino, I decided to steer the conversation toward more personal matters. "So how's married life treating you?" I asked Michael. He sighed, a shadow passing over his face. "It's complicated. Jordan's been distant lately, always busy with work." I feigned concern. "I'm sorry to hear that. Relationships can be tough when careers get in the way." He nodded. "Sometimes I wonder if there's something he's not telling me." "Oh," I raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" "I don't know, just a feeling." "Bingo. Well, if you ever need to talk or, spy on him," I joked, "I'm your guy." He laughed, but there was a hint of contemplation in his eyes. "Actually, that's not a bad idea." And just like that, phase 2 of my master plan was in motion. Over the next few days, Michael and I concocted a scheme to find out what Jordan was up to. Little did he know, I already had all the answers. We decided to follow Jordan the next time he claimed to be working late. The night arrived. Michael and I parked discreetly outside Jordan's office building, a stakeout duo straight out of a low-budget detective movie. Sure enough, around 8 p.m., Jordan emerged, and who was trailing right behind him? My lovely wife, Sarah. Michael's face fell. "Is that—" "Sarah," I completed his sentence. "Yeah, that's my wife." He looked at me shocked. "Wait, you knew?" I sighed dramatically. "I've had my suspicions." We watched as they got into a car together, laughing and completely unaware of their audience. "Well, this is awkward," I said, trying to lighten the mood. Michael was silent, tears welling up in his eyes. I can't believe he'd do this to me. I put a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Hey, at least now we know." He looked at me, a mix of sadness and confusion. "What do we do now?" "Funny you should ask," I replied, a mischievous grin spreading across my face. Phase 3 was about to commence. I proposed that we confront them, not with anger, but with style. A public spectacle that would expose their deceit in the most dramatic fashion possible. "Let's throw a party," I suggested. "An anniversary party for you and Jordan. Invite friends, family, colleagues, the whole shebang." He looked hesitant. "And then what?" "And then we unveil a special presentation to commemorate the occasion." At first, he was skeptical, but the more we planned, the more on board he became. There's something about shared betrayal that brings people together, or maybe it was the wine. We set the date for the following Saturday. Michael pulled out all the stops, catering, decorations, even a live band. It was the kind of event that would make Gatsby jealous. The night of the party arrived. Sarah thought I was away on a business trip, another little detail I'd arranged. The room was filled with guests, buzzing with anticipation. Jordan and Sarah arrived fashionably late, both looking annoyingly radiant. "Surprise!" everyone shouted as they entered. Jordan was genuinely shocked. "What's all this?" Michael beamed. "A celebration of us." I stayed hidden among the crowd, careful not to reveal myself too soon. As the evening progressed, I noticed Sarah growing increasingly uneasy. Maybe it was the guilt, or perhaps she sensed that the other shoe was about to drop. Finally, the moment arrived. Michael took the stage and tapped the microphone. "Thank you all for being here to celebrate our love," he began. "I have a special presentation prepared, a slideshow of memories." The lights dimmed and the projector flickered to life. The first few slides were innocuous enough. Vacation photos, candid moments, that sort of thing. Then the images began to shift, pictures of Jordan and Sarah entering hotels, holding hands, sharing intimate moments. Gasps echoed through the room. Sarah's face turned a shade of pale that would worry a vampire. Jordan looked like he'd seen a ghost. I stepped onto the stage beside Michael. "Surprise," I said, waving cheerfully. The room erupted into chaos. Guests were whispering, some openly staring, others pretending to check their phones as if an urgent text might save them from the awkwardness. Sarah stormed up to the stage. "What is the meaning of this?" she hissed. "Well, it appears you've been moonlighting in another marriage," I replied, unable to hide my smirk. Jordan tried to pull Michael aside. "We need to talk." "Oh, I think we've talked enough," Michael snapped. Security, yes, there was security, escorted the two of them out as they protested and pleaded. As the dust settled, I turned to the remaining guests. Sorry for the drama, folks, but hey, at least the bar is still open. A few nervous chuckles rippled through the crowd, and slowly the party resumed, albeit with a much juicier topic of conversation. Later that night, as the festivities wound down, Michael and I shared a quiet moment. That was intense, he said. I nodded. Therapeutic, though, he laughed. You know, for a guy who started off as a stranger, you've become a good friend. Likewise, I replied, clinking my glass against his. In the weeks that followed, the fallout was substantial. Sarah moved out, which was just as well because the tension in the house could have been cut with a butter knife. I filed for divorce, citing infidelity, which, thanks to our state's laws, gave me a favorable settlement. The house, primary custody of the kids, and even the dog who, let's be honest, always liked me better anyway. As for Jordan and Michael, they parted ways. Michael threw himself into his art, producing some of his best work yet, a series called Betrayal and Renewal. Critics loved it. Apparently, misery does wonders for creativity. One day, as I was settling into my new life of single parenthood and frozen dinners, I received an unexpected invitation. Michael was hosting another art exhibition and wanted me to attend. I arrived at the gallery, greeted by a massive canvas splashed with vibrant colors and bold strokes. The title read, Phoenix Rising. "Do you like it?" Michael asked, appearing beside me. "It's incredible," I admitted. "Powerful." He smiled. "It's about finding beauty in new beginnings." I turned to him. "Here's to new beginnings, then." We clinked our glasses again with the clinking. It's becoming a thing, and for the first time in months, I felt a genuine sense of peace. As the evening wore on, I mingled with guests, avoiding the spinach puffs, a lesson learned from past experiences, and even managed to sound intelligent while discussing abstract art. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spotted Sarah entering the gallery. She looked around, visibly uncomfortable, before her eyes landed on me. "Can we talk?" she asked cautiously. I considered it for a moment. "I suppose." We stepped outside into the cool night air. "I wanted to apologize," she began, "for everything." I nodded, letting the silence stretch uncomfortably before responding. "Apology accepted, but that doesn't change what happened." "I know," she sighed. I made a mistake." "Mistakes are forgetting to buy milk," I replied. "What you did was a choice." She looked down, fidgeting with her purse. "I miss our family." "The kids are adjusting," I said. "They're resilient." "I was hoping we could try to work things out," she ventured. I took a deep breath. "Sarah, I think it's best we both move on. Besides, I've developed a keen interest in art lately." She glanced back into the gallery, eyes narrowing as she spotted Michael watching us through the window. "Is there something going on between you two?" she asked, a hint of jealousy in her tone. I shrugged. "That's not really your concern anymore, is it?" She opened her mouth to speak, but thought better of it. "Good night, Sarah," I said, turning to rejoin the party. Back inside, Michael raised an eyebrow. "Everything okay?" "Just tying up loose ends," I replied. He nodded. "Well, the night's still young. Care to help me shock some art critics with our profound insights?" I grinned. "Lead the way." And so, amidst abstract paintings and free wine, I found myself embracing a future that, while unexpected, felt oddly promising. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but I prefer mine with a side of personal growth and a dash of poetic justice. Life threw me a curveball, and instead of striking out, I decided to knock it out of the park, or at least into the stands where the nachos are. So to anyone out there dealing with betrayal, remember, sometimes the best revenge is simply moving on and living well. But if you can orchestrate an elaborate public spectacle that exposes the cheaters and brings you a new friend in the process, well, that's just the cherry on top.